Welcome everyone to the Sahyadri webinar series. Today we'll be talking about the third beautiful traverse around Matheran, which will take us along some 10 beautiful peaks and forts in this region. As usual, the videos are available in high quality on YouTube, my blog ultrajourneys.org, and a 10-minute preview is posted on Insta TV and Facebook. Here is the traverse we'll be discussing today. We'll basically initially start from Lonavala, go through Rajmachi, from there get down to Sungiri, and then proceed as shown over here to Sondai, get on top of Matheran, and proceed along a ridge line to Vitikan Pep, Nakind, Chanderi, then go to the northern side of this range, Tahuli, Panjpir, Sarkar, and come down again to finish at Kalavantindur, Prabbalghat and Ilshalghat. A nice beautiful loop covering some 8 to 10 forts and peaks. Okay, so initially we'll start from the Lonavala side. Lonavala was easy accessible from Pune through a local train. So from Lonavala, I think most people are familiar with the Rajmachi route. From there again you can get down in the valley of the Ulas river to the plains, and then pretty close you pass the fort Sungiri on the way to Karjat, and then passing Karjat you go towards the Matheran range where you meet Sondai initially. Here you can see the Shivarata Lake, a beautiful lake, crystal clear water, nice refreshing dip in the hot sun on the way from Lonavala to Rajmachi, a little bit above on the right side, above the jeep track that you follow. Nice little hamlets there, beautiful places, friendly people, innocent people, hospitality. Made a small campfire there while staying overnight. Nice ambience away from the touristic places. Voila, then coming to Rajmachi, so the range of the Sahyadri, which starts from Lonavala, Kandala, is known as the Ulas River Valley. Borgat, which passes to Pune, connecting the ports of Kalyan and Nalasopara, was a very important trade route. To protect these trade routes and to collect octroi from the traders, many forts were built on the borders of the Konkan region and the Geit passes. Of these forts, Rajmachi was very important, and it served a highly powerful place in the military warfare. As to its one side falls the Maval region, and to the other side the Bhima Shankar region. Here you can see some historical hand-carved rocks at the base of this twin fort. So Rajmachi is actually two independent forts. One is Man Rajan there in the back, and one is Shivardhan. You can see serious fortification going around both forts, looking at the walls built. Let's take a small video here. Top views from Rajmachi Fort near Lonavala. There is Rajmachi village. Behind there is the Konkan railway line. Rajmachi consists of two forts, one on the opposite hill there, and the one we are standing on. Below there you can see the Konkan plains, and 360 degrees we are surrounded by beautiful Sahyadris, lakes with crystal clear water everywhere. See some of the fortifications on the back of the first fort of Rajmachi. And here you can see the entry gate of Man Rajan, the second one that we are seeing from afar. Finally, from Rajmachi we then follow a nice kind of dirt track / trail into the Ulas River Valley below there. On the left, the hill on the left you see there will be Sungiri Fort. This lush green valley, abundant water here, and yes, rainfall in the monsoon. As you get down then you come through small hamlets, shepherds moving, grazing their herds in the open lands in between and the hills. Here is Songiri. There are actually two forts with this name in Maharashtra. One near Karjat, which is this one in Pune, also known as the fort of Avalas, and the other one is near Nagotani in Rajgad districts. Excuse me. This is at the base of Borgat and was built to guard its Songiri trek. Is also known as the Palashdari trek. Voila! Here we climb up from a small village at the base along a ridge through a pretty clear trail to the top of Songiri. Again, not much is left there. A couple of remains of walls, limited kind of defensive walls, and some artifacts, but otherwise not much to be seen on top of this hill. Of course, the views are quite beautiful on the Ulas River Valley. Again, in less touristic forts, you're also finding more likely to find these rock quartz stones. Voila, as we then towards the end of the evening proceed towards the Matheran range, we see here the Ulas River flowing down towards the seaside. In the back you can see the Matheran range already. Here another beautiful sunset picture on the Ulas River with the Songiri hills in the background. Next is Sondai. Sondai is a relatively less known popular fort near Karjat. The fort is part of the Matheran range, though it does not have any structural remnants. The scenic views it offers at the final 15 feet rock patch make it a thrilling experience. This fort was supposedly built as a watchtower. Here you can see those metal ladders towards the final pinnacle of Sondai. The back again you can see beautiful views where we came from, the Rajmachi and Songiri site. On top of the fort of Sondai again not much is there except some ancient stones here, which are still, I guess, destination of pilgrims and religious visitors. Voila, finally we come to Matheran. Matheran is a hill station at the elevation of around 800 meters and part of actually the Mumbai metropolitan region, usual weekend getaway for urban residents, so very touristic, very crowded. Matheran, which means forest of the forehead of the mountains, is an eco-sensitive region, Asia's only automobile-free hill station. Before we get up there in Matheran in the back, we take a nice refreshing dip in the Morbe Lake in the base. Crystal clear water again, very nice as it tends to get quite hot here. We're in the Konkan plain, so heat and humidity is quite abundant. You got a nice little trail going up from the Morbe Lake up to the Matheran. This is only one of the 4 different routes going to the 4 corners of this plateau, this big quite sizable hill. Then, as you can see, Matheran is extremely commercialized and touristic, so I'm not gonna cover this because this is the last place where I want to go to. From Matheran you have an old railway track that was going up, so as from the hairpin road you can get on this railway track, which is not in use anymore, looking at the state of the track, and from there actually you can then jump on a ridge towards 2 other forts, which we'll be seeing next. At the base of Matheran you can also see some old caves with paintings, probably used for meditation or sages in the olden days. Voila, so from Matheran we kind of follow that railway line shown in black there, and then once we reach the northern tip of Matheran we get down, proceed along a ridge to Vikatgat Pep Forts, and from there again we can continue along a ridge towards Nakind. This is an extremely beautiful traverse, a little bit challenging as the vegetation is quite dense at the end of the monsoon when I did this traverse. Here you can see the descent from Matheran. Up there a little bit towards the skyline will be the railway track from where we climb down. Below these exposed rocks you'll have those caves which I showed in the previous slides, and then you have a trail proceeding along the ridge to Pep Vikatgat Fort, which is in continuation of the Malangat, Toli Hill and Chanderi Fort of the Matheran. The track path to Vikatgat is along deep ravines and cliffs. Its closeness to Matheran and Nerala attracts many trekkers on the weekend. It was named after the goddess Pebi Devi, has storerooms for storing food grades and ammunition, and was visited by Captain Dickinson in 1818. So you can see it's a quite narrow ridge line on which you're walking here between Matheran, Geit, and then eventually Nakint. So here you can see the vegetation, which is quite dense at the end of October, beginning of November 2019. Here is the final entry towards the Geit, which is a little bit above the ridge. So they have put some ladders both on this side as well as on the other side of the fort. Here we are then on top of Geit, Pep Fort. Small kind of heightened pinnacle, flat rectangular pinnacle with stunning views, of course, on the surrounding mountain ranges. On the other side, then again, you get down through what originally was a stone staircase, but is now kind of washed away as a gully. Fortification walls are there on this side. This is on the western side, northwestern side, so they put big ladders to be able to get down. From here we proceed on Nakint. Nakint literally means a hollow area passing through a rock. There will actually be a pinhole in this pinnacle, situated in the proximity of Vangani. The fort stands approximately 2,300 feet high. It has a needle hole structure near the top and offers beautiful views, as we will see on Chanderi Fort. Voila, here we proceed along this densely vegetated ridgeline. There is still a trail visible, but you need to watch out not to lose track. Of course, being a ridge, it's quite easy. The trail never wanders off too much from the top of the ridgeline. Let's go for a walk through this vegetation.
Encounter some more tricky sections. So now closing in on Nakint. The vegetation is quite big here, so we're able to walk underneath. Mix of forest and banana plant. Like some people have opened the pot a little bit. So it's a bit more open now. Once we hit the rocks up there, I think we might encounter some more tricky sections.
Okay, so as we look behind then, the evening is falling. We can see there the Matheran range, and in between also Geit Pep Fort. As we walk further, it becomes a little more open. We can walk.
We now reach the top of Nakint. So far, no issues. We are walking along the ridge. The vegetation has opened up a little bit. Getting good views on our next destination, Chanderi Fort. At the west, the sun is slowly setting down over the Konkan coast. And behind us, we can see Geit Pep Fort, and farther away, Matheran in the horizon. Beautiful cloud formations again in the evening. Nice breeze on top of Nakint. Probably have to stay on top tonight, as the sun will be setting soon. So anyway, it is breezy. That's fine for me.
Okay, so finally we reach then on top of a pretty small platform here, just before the top of the needle hole of Nakint. Beautiful views on the further traverse north, with Chanderi peeking up, and getting pretty late, so deciding to sleep here, as there is a little bit of a technical section after this, and then getting down would be too long in the darkness. So with the beautiful views around me, I decided to settle down here and wake up the next morning, as you can see above the clouds in heaven. Really beautiful views on the cloud-filled valleys here of eventually Mumbai and Panvel. Stunning views as the sun rises and evaporates all these clouds generated by the forest below. Here you can then see the Pinhole after we climb down a little bit of a tricky section to the base of Nakint Hill. And voila, there on the other side of the Pinhole you can see stunning views on the Chanderi pinnacle.
morning, everybody. We are looking at the valleys around Nakind. In front of us is Chanderi Fort. Lush green valleys have been covered with a blanket of clouds. Behind that we are looking at the Matheran plateau. And here on Nakind we have a similar feature as on Ratanghat, a pinhole, a little bit less perfect, but definitely a natural arch. Nice campsite. This site is the sunrise. Looks like we're in paradise again. Beautiful.
Finally getting down through a nice forest trail of Nakind, we come across some little stream still at the end of October, taking a refreshing bath after a sweaty night on top of Nakind. And then as you get further to the base, you'll see again people walking in between those remote farming hamlets before you hit the main highways again to our next destination, Chanderi Fort. Voila, this was the first part of the Matheran traverse. Stay tuned tomorrow for the second traverse through Chanderi, Tahuli, Panchpir Sarkar, Prabalghat, Kalavantin-Durg and Ishralghat, a beautiful traverse that completes this entire range of 10 forts and peaks. As usual, you can watch all the webinars on my blog ultrajourneys.org as well as on YouTube, where you can also find lots of other information on the Himalayas, Vietnam and the forts of the Sahyadris. See you guys tomorrow.